Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We're learning Mishna Yevamos, Parakut Gimel, chapter 13, Mishnah Aleph, Mishnah 1. Okay, we need an introduction before. This is not something that we've never been familiar with, but it's worthwhile going through the introduction. Under Torah law, a girl who is not yet an adult can be married off only by her father. A father can marry off his daughter who is a minor, under bas mitzvah age. Actually, even more than that. She cannot get married, but again, she's not yet, okay. Not an adult, can be married off only by her father. Okay, let's back off what I just said before. She cannot get married on her own, nor can any of her other relatives marry her off. If her father dies and she wants to marry, she has to wait until she reaches adulthood when she can enter into a marriage on her own. That's Torah law. However, seeing that a young girl with no father might be abused by others, was a problem back then too. The rabbis allowed her mother or adult brothers to marry her off in a rabbinic marriage to a husband who will protect her. So that's the kedusha ketana. Okay, they can marry her off. As part of this decree, the rabbis gave the young girl in this kind of rabbinic marriage the ability to leave her marriage without receiving a get, without receiving a bill of divorce, halachic bill of divorce, but simply through what's called mian, which means refusal. To perform mian, the orphan girl simply makes a statement that she no longer desires to be with her husband and her marriage is dissolved. Mian works only while the orphan girl is still a child. Once she reaches adulthood without having performed mian, the marriage can be dissolved only through a regular divorce, what we call a get. Yeah, exactly. So if she got married as a minor, but she never made mian, she never did the refusal, and she became bas mitzvah, she became an adult, no more mian. Can't do the mian anymore. Okay? Now, so that is going to be the subject of discussion of the Mishnah. Okay, so here we go. And it's going to be a number of arguments disagreements between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel regarding different aspects of mian. So Beis Shammai say, Emamanin ela arusais. The only time a ketana, a girl who is a minor, can do mian, can do the refusal, is while she is an arusa, while she is betrothed. A Jewish marriage has two parts to it. It has kedushin or erisin, what we call the betrothal when you give her the ring, and then she goes to the chuppah, which is the chuppah with its blessings is the completion of the marriage when they can live as husband and wife. So she's married to him before, they don't live as husband and wife until the completion of the marriage with nisuin, which is the chuppah. Okay, so according to Beis Shammai, the only time that the ketana, that the minor girl can do mian is to refuse is while she is an arusa. If she goes to the next stage of nisuin, she cannot do it anymore. Beis Hillel say arusais unasuais. Both, whether they are arusas betrothed or they are completely married, they can still do mian. What's the argument here? Why did Beis Shammai say only at this stage? Beis Hillel says even at the next stage. So I'll read here from the notes. A wedding dinner arranged and paid for by the husband was typically held at the time of nisuin, at the completion. Beis Shammai were concerned that a man might not be willing to spend money to prepare a wedding for himself and his orphan bride when she could end the marriage at any time with a simple statement of mian. There he is. He spent all the money on the wedding feast, and just she decides and she says, "I'm not interested anymore." It's all over. So Beis Shammai were concerned that if that's what can happen, that it's not gonna that things we're not going to accomplish what we need to accomplish. No one's want to get married. They're not going to want to marry her. And therefore, they say that when mian was instituted, it was instituted in a way that, okay, if she wants to refuse before this big feast after the chuppah is served, it's going to be offered. Okay, she can back out. Nobody's lost. But if it's already afterwards, it can be a loss to the husband. And therefore, after the nisuin, after the completion of the marriage, we don't let. Beis Hillel, on the other hand, felt that both the girl and the husband want to marry, even if there is a chance that the marriage will only be temporary. There's no reason to fear that the husband will hold back from entering into the marriage. Basically, Beis Hillel say, if they want to get married, he'll take the chance. And he will not, and he'll go through the whole thing and he wants to get married, he'll go through the whole thing and hope for the best. All right, that's the first part. Beis Shammai say, Ba'al v'lo b'yavim. Miyun can only be done by a husband and not by a yavim. That means that if you're talking about the man who made kedushin on her, the one who married her through kedushin, she can do miyun to him. But let's say he dies. Let's say he dies, right? Even after Nisuin. Let's say he dies. Now she is as we say, she falls to him for Yibam. She's bound to him for Yibam. And she doesn't want him. She doesn't want to marry him. Can she do miyun? It all started with a marriage that could do miyun. Can she do miyun now? At the point where there is a mitzvah of Yibam to do, a connection for Yibam. So Beis Shammai say, Ba'al v'lo b'yavim. You can't do it by the Yavim. The Yavim, the husband's gone. By the husband, she could do miyun. Now he's gone. And therefore, and going further, she can't do miyun. Beis Hillel say, Ba'al u'b'yavim. She can do both, by a husband and by a Yavim. Now listen to understanding of this. The point Beis Hillel say is like this. Beis Hillel say, when she says, I don't want to be married to the Yavim, in essence, what she's saying is, or the way Beis Hillel say we can see what she's saying is, well, now, if I have to marry your brother, I never want to be married to you. Mm-hmm. She can kind of like retroactively say, I don't want him. I don't want this marriage. If now it means I have to marry the brother because of Yibam, I don't want the marriage to begin with. So it's kind of retroactive. Beis Hillel say that can work. That being can work that way, and therefore they say it works both by the husband and by the Yavim. Okay, next. Beis Shammai oimrim b'fanav. Beis Shammai say you have to do it in front of him. If she's going to do miyun and she's going to say I don't want to be married anymore, she got to do it. She got to do it in front of him. She got to do it to his face. And Beis Shammai's reasoning is that it's easier to do not in front of him than in front of him. And really, Beis Shammai don't want to make it easier for her to do miyun. They don't want to make it easier for her. And therefore, they say, she wants to do it, fine, but you got to do it in front of him. Beis Hillel say, it can be done both in front of him and not in front of him. Okay. Okay. Let's stop here and we'll continue this Mishnah tomorrow. Okay. Now, so we said that if the situation about telling others about what someone did wrong to someone is you're that someone they did something wrong to, then to go ahead and say it over for the purpose of, to say I'm doing it in order to, warn people, get people not to follow this kind of behavior, that's not really what's happening. You're really, at the end it's personal, and there is at least some level of trying to get back at the person, and therefore you can't do it. V'afal pike nirali. But says the Chofetz Chaim, nonetheless, but if he sizes up the situation, that by telling others how someone else did something wrong, regarding monetary issues, anything similar, it will help him in the future. Kagain, for instance, if let's say he tells other people who can actually rebuke him, and he'll listen to them, and perhaps because of this, he'll return the stolen object to you, or I think he also meant, or maybe at least he won't hurt you in the future. He's allowed to tell them and to request from them that they should help him out. Okay? So therefore, if at least there is going to be, the fact, if at least by telling others about it, they'll be able, and you could ask them then now to see what you can do about, rectifying what he did. Okay, if that's going to come out, that's considered a constructive purpose, then you can do it. So again, it's personal, but it's not about getting back at him. It's about trying to help yourself. In that situation, you would be able to go ahead and tell other people about it, and request from them that they should go and see if they could speak to him. Again, knowing because these are people that you know could speak to him and that he could possibly listen to them. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.